Well, security will be one of the topics covered at the 19th Party Congress. And for more on the event, I'm joined now by Neysun Mahboubi. He's an expert on Chinese law and a research scholar at the University of Pennsylvania Center for the Study of Contemporary China. Quite an introduction. Welcome to the broadcast. Tell us, what tone did the plenary session set, specifically the anti-corruption drive for the upcoming 19th National Congress?
So this plenary session occurred over the last few days and just concluded, and the report just came out this morning. It's not a very open meeting, so we don't know a lot about it, but it sounds as if anti-corruption was a major theme, and we know that that's been a major theme of the first 5 years of this new administration. So clearly that's going to continue and color the basic tenor of the Party Congress that's starting in a few weeks.
Neysun, what else should we expect?
So it's, for China scholars, this is a major period of time to pay attention to this most important visible political meeting. And among the things we'll be looking for who's going to be on the 200-member Central Committee, who's going to be on the 25-member Politburo, who's going to be on the 7-member Standing Committee. People will be very interested to see what happens to Wang Qishan. And then they'll also be looking for language, whether there's maybe language change in the party constitution, whether it will be language in the documents that are issued after the Party Congress that shed light on the direction of policy going forward. There was a lot that happened in these first 5 years and some things that were suggested but didn't happen. And we'll want to see whether this Party Congress sets the track going forward similarly or differently from what we've seen in the first 5 years.
Tell us, what, in your opinion, is at stake for the new party leadership that will be selected? It seems like, in terms of anti-corruption, already the bar has been set pretty high. What more can they expound on?
So there's been a lot done on anti-corruption. It's been a major development in Chinese political life over the past 5 years. We'll also want to see, though, what happens with economic reform. There was a lot of discussion in the third plenum in 2013 about economic reform, about making the market the decisive factor in resource allocation. And I think there is a sense that economic reform has lagged behind, let's say, the successes in the anti-corruption field. So we'll want to see, is economic reform going to be pushed forward? Another feature of the last 5 years has been greater centralization of power, and we'll want to see, well, now that you have this centralization of power, what do you do with it? What kind of reforms are you able to push through with that?
What about China's place in global leadership? Will more people watch what's happening in China next week as the country emerges as an international leader?
That's a really interesting question. This upcoming Party Congress is important just for China's domestic economic, political, legal situation. But then it also happens to be happening around the same time as, for a mix of factors, China is becoming a more prominent actor on the world stage. This is not entirely by accident. It's definitely part of Xi Jinping's overall agenda to promote this idea of a rising China in the world. But then there are factors like what's going on in the US and the greater engagement of China in international institutions that maybe you couldn't have predicted as much. So it is interesting to see that this political meeting, which is of great importance domestically, will also be being paid attention to in this wider global audience at this particular moment where China seems to be taking a new role on the world stage. And I should just add, there will be things to look at in the documents that come out of this Party Congress as to how China wants to approach its global role. I can imagine there will be lots of references to multipolarity, economic openness, a lot of these themes that we've seen in recent years being a greater part of the foreign policy message out of China.
Well, Neysun Mahboubi, always great to see you. Thank you for joining us live from Philadelphia.